So basically this will have two videos. First video will be me telling you about ratio proportion, and then telling you about which is greater out of the two ratios. Then we will simplify, then we will have what is proportion and the rule of proportion, and then simply we will have unitary method. So this is the first part, and the second part which will follow after this will be percentage and percentage to fractions, fractions to percentage, and percentage applications in profit loss and simple interest. So first and foremost, I would like to thank you for watching the videos and liking it. Thank you so much again. And students, I hope you are getting the advantage, and if your parents also like it, then they can share it with your friends who also can benefit. So before I don't know, one more thing, that you must be watching some motivational videos which I'll keep on continuing, which I'll continue to send you. And one more thing I want to add here before I start this chapter: always be very thankful to things which have come to you in life. Two things I want to tell you, students, that always thank two things in life. What are those two things? Yeah, guess. First and foremost, you always have to thank God. You remember the prayer? Thank you, God, for the food we eat. Thank you, God, for the water we drink. Thank you, God, for everything. So remember to thank you, God, for everything before you sleep. And second, and the most important or equally important, is to thank sun. Why I am telling you this? Because sun is the ultimate source of energy on this planet Earth. So in case once we get the sunlight, once we get energy, once we get sunlight, we get energy. So energy is a form of life. All the life forms on this planet Earth is because of sun. So always remember to thank God and also to thank sun, which is a star. So now let's get started. So students, the first concept is ration proportion. So basically a ratio is a method of comparing two quantities, right? So the two quantities can be A and B is a ratio, and C and D is a ratio. So B and D are denominators. B and D cannot be 0. Anything which is upon 0 is undefined. So you can have anything like 2 by 3 and 4 by 5. So 2 upon 3 and 4 upon 5 has to be compared somehow. So there has to be some rule for comparison between these two fractions, right? So this is what we will study today in comparing comparing quantities. Okay. Suppose the very first question is which is greater. So let's see which is greater. We will cross multiply. See, 2 by 3 and 4 by 5. This is what I mentioned here. So this arrow is left hand side and this arrow is right hand side. First you make these two arrows so that you know what is left hand side and what is right hand side. So in the left hand side you have 5 into 2, and in the right hand side you have 3 into 4. 10 is less, this is 10, and this is right hand side is 12. So you know right hand side is greater because it is 12. So right hand side is what? This thing. This is right hand side and this is 12, which means the fraction which is on the right hand side is greater. 4 by 5 is greater than 2 by 3. Right? That's one thing. Second question is find equivalent fraction. So again 2 by 3 and 4 by 5, A upon B and C upon D. There are two fractions which I have taken. So you want to know what is the equivalent fraction. So simple concept for this is you just multiply by any number which comes to your mind. That number has to be multiplied in the numerator as well as in the denominator. So let's do this. So step 1 is to multiply numerator and denominator with the same number. Say 2. So say we take 2, right? So students, it is 2 into 2 and 3 into 2, which is 4 by 6. Now let's again multiply this. 4 into 2 and 6 into 2 we get 8 by 12. So what three numbers we get? We get 2 by 3, which is the question itself. Then we get 4 by 6 and we get 8 by 12. Simply we keep on multiplying. So if they ask you give me two more fractions which are equivalent, then you just keep on multiplying by 2. First you multiply by 2 to get 4 by 6 in the numerator and the denominator, and then we again multiply by 2. Like we got 4 by 6 by multiplying by 2 in numerator and denominator. Then we again multiply by 2. Suppose 4 by 6 we get, so we get 4 by 6. Then again we multiply by 2, both same ways, numerator and denominator. We get 8 by 12. So we get 2 by 3, 4 by 6 and 8 by 12 as equivalent fractions. Okay, clear? Now another question is what was the question? 4 by 5. Now suppose again you think of any number in your mind, say by 5. So you multiply by 5 in the numerator and denominator, we get 4 into 5 and 5 into 5 because the number was 4 by 5. Next, there are two questions here, right? So 4 into 5, 20 by 25. Again multiply by 5. 20 into 5 and 25 into 5. So we get another number 100 upon 125. 20 into 5 is 100 and 25 into 5 is 125. So we get three numbers. One is 4 by 5, and then 20 by 25, then we get 100 by 25, 100 by 125. So usually you will get a question wherein a fraction will be given to you and they will ask you two more fractions. So just multiply by the same number two times. Once you multiply by once you multiply by 5 in numerator and denominator, we get one number. That's keep that number aside. That's one number. Take that same number and again multiply by 5 in the numerator and denominator to get the second number. Okay, that's how we do it. Now the third question is simplify 4 days upon 72 hours. In these questions, see, the units are days and hours. First and foremost, the principle is to convert this into the same unit. It cannot be days and hours. So first you will see which is greater. 4 days is more than 72 hours, right? So days has to be converted to hours. So because once we have the same units, the units will get cancelled and it will be just the number. So we have to see if it is kilometer and meters, then you can convert meter to kilometer, or you can convert kilometer to meter. So the numerator and the denominator should have the same unit so that we can cut it. So herein it cannot be days and hours. It has to be hours in both the sides, right? In both the numerator and denominator, right? Okay. So what we do here, the question is this. So the unit should be 4 days, as 4 days is greater than 72 hours. So convert days to hours. 1 day is 24 hours. So 4 days will be 24 into 4, right? Which is 96 hours. So 96 upon 72 hours and hours, they get cancelled. This is 96 by 72. You can, this is what, 9 plus 6? 15 and 7 plus 2, 9. Sum of the digits. So there is 15 and 9. So you can either divide this by 3 or you can simply do it by 2. So I have done it by 4. You can do it even by 4. So I'm done by 4 because 4 into 24 is 96, and if you do this 4 into 18 is 72. Again 24 and 18 you can do this as 2 12s are 24 and 2 9s are 18. And 12 by 9 is 4 by 3. You can do this by 3. 3 3 3 4 the 12, 3 3 the 9. Okay, that's one question. Another one is 72 upon 54. Simply you have to simplify this. You can even, whenever you get these questions, you see by 2 and 3. That's the best thing to do. But 2. So this thing I have done by 2. First, so 36 by 27, and 36 by 27 you can again simplify by 3. 3 12s are 36 and 3 9s are 27. And this 12 by 9 again can be further simplified by 3 itself, because if you do by 2, 9 will not be simplified. You have to take 3 now. Always take a combination of 2s and 3s initially. So now you do by 2, now you do by 3, 3 4 the 12, 3 3 the 9, 4 by 3. So this is another question. Now we will see what is proportion. So A upon B and C upon D are two different fractions. So what is the relation? Proportion is basically an equality, that A upon B and C upon D are equal. A upon B and C upon D are two fractions which are equal by some rule. What is the rule of proportion? The rule of proportion is if A upon B and C upon D are two fractions, right? Then A upon B is equal to C upon D is represented as this. See, usually you get this question in this form. This is 2 dots is A upon B and 4 dots is equal to C upon D. Question will be in this form. So you will give. So suppose I take this question which is given here. 27 by 18 is equal to 3 by 2. So you can write this like this. 27 by 18 is equal to 3 by 2. Simple. So simply write A upon B. In this form you write. Now B and C are, remember this, the rule is product of means is equal to product of extremes. Product of means is equal to product of extremes. What are extremes? Extremes, if you stretch your hands wide, they are extremes, right? So if you write this A upon B is equal to C upon D, then in this form A and D are extremes. I have shown it to you, and B and C are means. So B into C is equal to A into D. B into C is equal to A into D. Product of BC is equal to product of AD, which means now you simply write this in this form 27 into 2, because A upon B is equal to C upon D, which means B into C. What is B? B into C. 18 into 3. 18 into 3 is equal to 27 into 2, or vice versa, or product of the extreme is equal to product of means. Anyways you can write. So 27 into 2 extremes is equal to A into D is equal to B into C. Anything you can write, right? A into D is equal to B into C. Simple. So A into D is 27 into 2 is equal to 18 into 3. This is the rule of proportion, right? This is two fractions will be in proportion by this rule. Okay. So this is how you solve it. So this is 54 and this is 54, right? So it can be any fraction. This is the proportion rule. Okay. Now we go further to the unitary method. What is the unit? Unit is 1. 1 upon 5, 1 upon 4, 1 upon 3. They are what? They are unit fractions. And what is unitary method? Unitary method is 1 unit. Okay. So unitary method is first calculate for 1 unit and then the required number. In unitary method question, you will be asked that how much is for this? How much is for this? Which means the required number will be given to you. You will have to calculate for that required number. Now first we will calculate for 1 unit so that we can reach to the required number. So I will make it simple for you by this example. The question here is a bus travels a distance of 50 kilometers in 2 hours. This is what happens in speed is equal to distance upon time. A bus travels a distance of 50 kilometers in 2 hours, right? How much will it take to travel 220 kilometers? So we know in 2 hours it is, in 50 kilometers it is 2 hours. So it has to travel 220 kilometers, which is more. So definitely the logic says the hours should be more. 50 kilometers 2 hours, 220 kilometers will be more. So first check is it will be more than 2 hours. But how do we write? There are two methods. One is the unitary method and one is the proportion method. We'll do one by one. So we'll do this question first by the unitary method. Kilometers, hours. Write kilometers, hours. So 50 kilometers, 2 hours. 220 kilometers, how many hours? We don't know. That is what is being asked. Okay, students. So 50 kilometers, 2 hours. Then we will take unitary method, which means what is given is 50 kilometers. We will calculate for one unit. So we'll calculate for 1 kilometer. Now see on the board. 50 kilometers is equal to 2 hours, right? 50 kilometers is equal to 2 hours. 1 kilometer will be 2 by 50. 1 kilometer will be 2 upon 50. It will be less. It will not be 50 by 2. It will be 2 by 50 because in 1 kilometer it will be less hours. So 2 upon 50. Always remember. So the required is what? 220. Now what is required? 220. We have done for 1 unit or 1 kilometer, and what is required? 220. We will simply multiply by 220. So the logic for unitary method is very simple. You calculate for 1 unit so that you can get to the required number. Now they are asking for 220. How many hours? So you know for 1. If for 1 it is 2 by 50, and for 220 it will be 2 by 50 into 220. Simple. So this will be 220 upon 25, because this is 1 upon you can 2 on the 2 and 25 over here, and 220 upon 25 is 44 by 5. 44 by 5. 44 by 5 is what? 5 8s are 40, and then 5 8s are 40 and 8.8. 5 8s are 40. Again we get 40. We get a point, and then 40. 5 8s are 40 again. It's 8.8, which means 8 hours and 8 minutes. 8 hours and 8 minutes. So that's the question here for questions on unitary method. Now they can also ask you about proportion method. Proportion method is simple. Product of means is equal to product of extremes. So we write the same thing over here. 50 to 220 and this. Now what is the step 1? Step 1 is, see, this is A upon B in this. Always remember A and B, C and D. That's why I've shown it over here to like over here. A upon B is equal to C upon D. So what is the rule of proportion? AD. A into D is equal to B into C. Or you can say B into C is equal to A into D. Same thing. Product of means is equal to product of extremes. So we write AD is equal to, suppose I have taken product of extremes first, is equal to product of means. So I wrote this as AD is equal to BC. 50 into what? 50 into D is question mark. We want to know for 220 kilometers. For 220 kilometers, how many hours are required? That's hours is D here, right? So 50 into this is equal to 2 into 220. 2 into 220, which means 2 into 220 upon 50, because as the rule says 50 will go down. So this will be just question mark here. So it will be 1 again 220 by 25 because 2 on the 2 and 25, and this is 44 by 5, same thing. So this is there are two methods, unitary method and proportion method, to solve word problems. Word problems can be of this kind. So what we have understood over here, what is the ratio and what is the ratio and proportion we have understood. We have understood how to simplify the questions in this chapter, and we have also understood what is the equivalent fraction, and we have also understood the rule of or the law of proportion, that product of the means is equal to product of the extremes. So now we will go to the second part of this chapter, and this video is all about this, and hope you like it. And if you give a like, if you like it, give a like, and keep on enjoying, keep smiling. And again I repeat, thank you. Two things. What are those? Thank before you sleep. Thank you God for the food we eat. Thank you God for the water we drink. Thank you God for everything. So always thank God, and always thank the ultimate source of energy on this planet Earth, which is sun. Because if sun is not there, we will all not be able to live. Because sun is there, because of sun there is photosynthesis, there is a whole lot of energy on this earth, and we are living. So never forget to thank before you sleep, sun and God. Take care, keep smiling, all the best.